Hi, Neil here with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers. Today, we're doing the install on the 2017 Ram 3500. This is the Kryptek Raid for the insert and trim fabric. Going to be an awesome looking set. Let's do this install. So first thing we're going to do on this install is the 20 section top lid cover. Then we're going to move the 20 section backrest, and then 20 section bottom. These seats in this truck have a 40-20-40 seat, so that 20 section is a seat right here, compared to some trucks have a hard console with just a lid where nobody could sit there, but this one 3 people can sit up front, 40-20-40. And the rear seat is a solid bench backrest, solid bench bottom. I've already put the covers on the passenger side because those go on the same way as the driver's, so you'll see how to do those. And the first thing again is this 20 section cover that we're going to put on, and we'll start with the 20 section top. Here's the 20 section top lid cover. There's some Velcro on the back side right here, and a Velcro piece here that's going to integrate with the 20 section backrest. Those two are going to connect together. First thing we're going to do is just open this up and then slide it on. So I've slid this over now. It's time to attach up these 2 Velcro pieces down here. And again, this Velcro won't attach just yet because I need the 20 section backrest to finish this out. And you're going to want to just make sure these corners are capping over the sides right there. And once you attach on this Velcro right here to the 20 section bottom, that'll help pull this whole cover down. Here's the 20 section backrest piece now with this foam backing on it. And we will lift up that 20 section, and then we need to slide this through underneath right there, and this is going to be the front side. So I have this cover, this 20 section bottom, pulled on top, and now where you want to line this up is this front side. The foam you want to line that up right to the front edge right there. So then this elastic part should be covering all of your fabric right there and lined up about to there. So it shouldn't come all the way to the top, just a little bit below it. And so then it's just your plastic vinyl that you're seeing right there. And now on the back side, you're gonna take these 2 pieces right here and attach them. And it should be a pretty tight fit to get those 2 to attach together. So I've attached this in the back right here. And what was helpful to do that, to attach this, is actually if you lift this up first and then pull that cover, that gives you a little bit more slack to pull them together right there. And then you close that back down, and then it just pulls everything nice and tight. Okay, and now the Velcro will attach pretty close end to end right here. And then over here, there's gonna be a little bit of extra hook Velcro, and that's so you can then attach it to this cloth right there. You're gonna pull that over, stick it onto that cloth right there. Okay. And that is how you do the back side right there. The front should look about like this. So you see that's pulled over right there and nice and smooth on the front side right there. So now the next step is to take these pieces and you put the sticky back Velcro down and stick these pieces on. Now it's time to take these sticky back Velcro pieces and stick them down. And what I've done is really made sure I got the cover positioned right. And where I'm going to put these sticky back Velcro pieces is here. So this one's going to go right here, right there. And then this other one is going to go down right here. Okay, and I'll show you all these once I stick them down there. And then this one is going to pull back and go down right along the inside right there. And then this one as well is going to pull over, going to go down on the inside right there. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken all 4 of those locations and cleaned them off real well with an alcohol prep pad, and just scrubbed that real good, cleaned that off, made sure that there wasn't any kind of like vinyl cleaners. Vinyl cleaner is the worst because it's got this oil-based cleaner in it, and if anybody sprayed that inside the truck, then these won't stick down very well. Also, it's a nice warm day today. If it's a cold day, then I would take a hair dryer and kind of warm these up before I stick them down. But what I'm going to do is, now that I have the positions right where I want them, is I'm going to peel this off, this transparent adhesive protector off, and then pull that nice and snug like that, and then stick it down. And so I'll show you once I've stuck that all down how it looks and where everything's positioned. I have the first two stuck down. So this one's stuck down here. This inside one is stuck down right there. And once you stick it on, give it a nice press and push on there for a little bit to just make sure that adhesive sticks as best as it can to the inside of this console. A lot of these times they stick on great, but I have had some customers where they don't get the best hold on there. If that's an issue for you, you can contact us for some additional sticky back adhesive Velcro if you need. The other thing is, at a hardware store you can get some super sticky back adhesive. There's some stuff that is stronger adhesive. The other thing that some people have done is they've taken Gorilla Tape, like a black Gorilla Tape, and just taped over that to kind of secure it in a little bit more. I've done that a couple times if I feel like it needs a little bit more. Sometimes, again, the trick is just to make sure you have this cleaned off, any kind of oils cleaned off before you stick that adhesive down. And so that's how that side should go down. Should be as smooth as you can as you're putting that on. You try to get that pulled out so it's nice and smooth on the side right there. And now we'll do these other ones over here. So I have these other two stuck down now as well. So one thing I didn't mention earlier was that I did trim this a little shorter because I didn't want it overlapping on the bottom. So just before you stick it down, kind of see as far as it's going to stretch down. You may want to just trim that a little shorter, like this one as well. I trimmed a little shorter so it wasn't overlapping onto the coin tray right there. And then this one I trimmed a little bit shorter. And I like trimming the sticky back Velcro to the same length as the hook Velcro, so then it just finishes out a little bit better like that. And then also this one, the sticky back Velcro, I trimmed a little shorter just so it didn't go down into this groove right there. It'd be fine if you did that, if it went over, but I just trimmed a little bit shorter right there so it was all on a flat surface right there. So that is how you put the 20 section backrest on with those pieces. And again, those are all the locations of where I put these ones in this truck. It changes a little bit on each 20 section on where they might go. And again, main thing that you might want to use is some alcohol prep pads. Now we're going to be doing this 20 section bottom. Here's the bottom cover. Right here, there's going to be Velcro on the front, on the back that will stick down, and then also on the sides. And no straps or strings to tie off on this one, on this particular 20 section bottom. So we'll just get it in place. I kind of like folding it inside out like that, and just fold those pieces over, stick them down, and there's going to be a seatbelt section right here that you need to pull this seatbelt through that. So here's the 20 section bottom pulled over. And there's actually two slots for the seatbelt receiver and the seatbelt here. And so that one was a little tighter to get this one through, but it does pull through. You gotta kind of work it a little bit at an angle and kind of pull it through a little bit tighter than the other one. And again, this just pushes down. That Velcro kind of catches the front of the seat there. And this one you can pull back a little bit farther. Than originally I didn't pull it back as far, and then I pulled it a little bit tighter, and it sticks onto that cloth on the back side. So it should finish out just like that. And now we have the 20 section all done. It's time to move on to the driver's seat. First thing we'll do on the driver's seat is remove the headrest, and you're going to need to depress this button and this button at the same time, and then lift that headrest out, and then that'll free us up, so then we can pull over the back side and the bottom cover. Next thing you're going to want to do is reach underneath this back felt right here, and there's these clips, plastic clips right here. They just unclip off. So you reach underneath and they're hooked onto a little spring, a little bar underneath. And you just unhook those, and then that'll free up this, because you actually need to have that open so we can push through several pieces of the cover through that. So now we have the headrest off, we have that back felt piece unhooked. We're actually going to do the driver bottom cover first. Here's the bottom cover. We have a MOLLE pocket on the front side, a driver's side pistol holster as well. There's going to be Velcro towards the back here. This is actually going to integrate with the seat cover backrest. There's straps go into buckles. I'll show you all those, and a string to tie off. But first thing, before I put that on, I'm actually going to do a quick little foam repair. This is not a foam replacement job, but it's a kind of a quick fix for something like this, where the foam is wearing down, the original cover upholstery has split open, and you can tell here that this has been worn down, kind of that foam has been compressed quite a bit. So we're not going to do anything too fancy. I have a little bit of extra scrap foam here. You could get this online on wherever, or at an upholstery shop, or even at a local Hobby Lobby or something like that. You can get foam like this, and so it's about a, what is this, 1/2 inch foam. Not super high density, but just a little bit of extra to kind of pack that in there. And then what I'll do is I'll actually take some glue, some spray adhesive, and take that one side of it, spray it right there, and then put that down. Now I want the scrim to be up towards the cover. And now this is not super necessary. If you want to do this and just put the cover on top of your seat, even if you got a little bit of a foam repair needed, that's fine. You could just pull it on top. This is just something we're going to do to pack a little bit of extra foam underneath the cover, and then you're not even going to see it, and it's just going to be built up there a little bit more, and over years of use it'll kind of continue to compress even both of these pieces of foam down a little bit more, but it'll just help prevent the foam wearing all the way down to the metal. Because what happens is when this wears down to the metal bar that's underneath the foam, then you can really tear through this cover as well as the seat cover really fast. And so we want to just put a little bit additional layers of foam and cushion to increase comfort, but then also prevent the foam from wearing out and getting down to your metal bars down there. Okay, so I got the little foam in there, pack that a little bit. Now we're going to get this cover pulled over. And again, you want to start with the driver bottom first on this particular vehicle. This is a modified install, makes it a little bit easier to do bottom first. You're going to get this section right here pushed through the crack in the seat there, and then get these this string pushed through in between the seat plastic right here and the seat cushion, and tie that string together. This Velcro is going to stick onto the inside down there on some cloth, and we'll go from there. So I've pushed this section through the seat right there, the straps and buckles through there. Well, and there's front buckles actually, and there's some back straps here. But there's the string right here. This is probably the trickiest part, is you need to take that string, take the end of it, and push it right there between the seat cushion and that plastic, and then you're gonna you push it through far enough that then you can grab it from the bottom right here, and then you can push the rest of that material through, and then you're gonna be able to tie this string up to this string right here, and this string just goes on the outside of this seat belt right here, and this Velcro sticks down to some cloth on the outside of that seat belt, and that just then goes around the outside there. So now we're on the back side of the driver bottom, and we've passed through this string here from the outside, and then the inside we have this string right here. We're going to take these two strings, tie them together. I'm going to tie a loop in one side right here, and then take this other string and tie it off and kind of pull them both taut. These don't have to be super tight, and when I am pulling these tighter, I always pull first straight back, and then after I have pulled out as much slack as I want, then I curve it over and then finish tying it off that way. Sometimes these can, on different trucks, they can be curved on some hard metal, and if you pull too tight on the curve, then you can snap your string. But the main thing that holds the seat in place are these straps to buckles right here. There's 2 outside straps. These are gonna go forward up to the buckles there. This middle strap goes underneath to a solid bar. I've already done that. Already gone to a solid bar or spring underneath the seat, and then it goes back to this buckle. And you always go through the middle slot and then the outside slot like that. And then you can cinch that up, and that makes sure that this never slides forward. That really locks this cover in place. You see a lot of seat covers, cheaper seat covers that slide forward over time. And this locks it down to make sure that it never's gonna slide forward right there. And so now that we have that one done, we'll do these outside straps and tie up our string. As you can see, I've tied a loop in one side right here. I have this other one right here, and now I can tie it off right there. And if I want to pull out more slack, again, what I'll do is I'll pull back straight like that and then curve it when I'm ready to tie right there. So I've passed up these straps to these front buckles, and again, you go through the middle slot right here and then the outside slot, and then you can tighten that up. And there's 2 of them. I already did this one down here, and now I'll do this one right here. And I like just compressing the seat down a little bit with one hand, just pushing down on it. You can either lay on it or kind of take one hand and push down while you tighten that, because that'll help kind of just snug the cover to the seat a little bit better. Okay, with that, the driver bottom's all done. You can see how nice and tight fitting it should be. It should finish out just like that. You can see I have it bulged a little bit here. That's just because of that extra foam that I put in here. And that'll compress down over the years of use here. But I'd much rather have it bulge a little bit more with foam than that dip that would have been there before. And again, that'll just be more comfortable and give more life to the cover and the seat here. Now it's time to do the driver backrest. So I have the driver backrest piece here now, and I know it's the driver backrest on this here because there's a side airbag blowout section. Now it was labeled driver backrest as well, so you can look for that label. Or the outside of the seat, there's side airbags in these seats, and if they ever need to deploy, they would blow through these Velcro sections here, and we'll finish attaching those at the end of the this part of the install. But first we're just going to pull this over, and then we're going to do the top headrest pieces. So these are the top headrest post holes that we need to fit this over this plastic piece. Technically it's functional if you just left it like that, but it looks better if you can pop this over the plastic piece there. And also it's going to give you better access to your push buttons, and that's really the way it's designed to fit on. So normally you can just take your trim tool, and if it's a simulated leather fabric, it stretches a little bit more, and you can just pop that around nice and easy. Now, I've found that if you have a canvas fabric like this, you do on RAM, they're just a little bit larger. So I'm gonna make some little slits. I'm gonna make 1, 2, 3, 4 small little slits in kind of an X pattern. And that's gonna give me just a little bit more space to fit this on. Technically you can stretch it, and it's a non-tear fabric, so even if it tears a little bit, it's not just gonna run on you. But it helps me a little bit more just to make sure that I don't stress it too much, just by making these small slits. So here's the small little slits. You won't really even notice them because they're going to tuck underneath the headrest here. But you can see I've made those 2 slits up there, 2 slits down below. And that's going to allow me to just pop this over so much easier. I'm still going to use the trim tool to get this around, but that's going to give me a little bit more stretch to get this to pop over. By using the trim tool, this is what I'm referring to. You're just taking this tool, this comes with the seat covers, and then you can just kind of push this underneath and work it around like that. Perfect. So now I have that popped over and around. Looks really good. You don't even see any of those slits since I didn't make them too large. And now we can do the same thing on this other one. Now that we have the headrest post pieces done, we can come down here, take this felt, push that through the crevice in the seat right there towards the back side. Once you have this felt pulled through, all you're gonna do is take this and then stick it down to this Velcro that was on the seat bottom right there, seat bottom cover. And you're just gonna pull it nice and tight and then stick it down right there. And then what I like to do is once it's stuck down, I just fold it in half like this. So then the felt flap, this next flap is gonna come down and cover over it right there. So I'm just gonna pull that nice and tight, stick it down to that Velcro. Once you have that stuck down to the Velcro, then you take this flap, and I've taken that and hook up those elastics underneath there so then that flap is nice and tight. And then you can take this seat cover flap and pull that over nice and tight, pull it down, and then stick that down right there and just try to straighten that out so then it's nice and flat. Last thing you're gonna do is attach up the side airbag Velcro. Here's the side airbag Velcro that I was talking about. So you just need to find these tabs, stick them together right there. And on this particular truck, I like to take this and tuck that in on the inside as well. You could leave it out if you wanted to. It doesn't matter either way. But I tuck that in right there. Driver backrest is all done. Time to do the headrest cover. So here's the headrest cover. This is the front side with this hook Velcro right here. It's a little wider towards the front as well. This back side's gonna be a little skinnier and that has the loop Velcro. And now the biggest tip to do these is you need to make sure that when you're putting these on, you're compressing this foam down with one hand and then using the other hand to pull the cover on top. You really have to compress down, especially on this year, this pattern of seat cover, which is a real nice tight fit on these headrests, but you have to really push down and kind of compress this foam as it's going on. I have this part way done now. As you can see, it's real tight and I got to compress this foam while it's going around. And again, I'm going to use one hand, compress that down and pull with the other hand. Okay, so now I have it pulled over and the Velcro attached up down at the bottom down here. Should fit on a lot like this here. So if it's oriented differently, try to massage it around and get it to fit on more like this. And just a nice tight fitting cover. And then we'll be able to put this back onto the headrest and all the back onto the seat back, and all of the headrests are going to install it just about the same way. This little middle headrest is just a little bit different, but it's very self-explanatory. Next we're going to be moving into is the rear seat, and we're going to start with the rear backrest. And as we do that, we're going to remove off or take off these headrests, and so we can start on that rear back. So we're working on the rear backrest now, and to set this up, first thing you need to do is take the cover, the rear backrest cover, and pull it underneath this middle seat belt. Okay, this is a rear backrest that's a solid backrest, no middle armrest that folds down. So what we'll need to do is these headrest pieces, we're going to do what we did before up on that driver and cut little X slots, or just little slits in them, little X slits in kind of an X pattern, so then they'll fit on a little bit better. And we'll get those aligned up, and then we have a bunch of straps that we need to pass down on the back side down to the bottom, and they're going to come down to these buckles right here. And I'll show you as I'm kind of midway through here how that's going. So I've done all of these headrest pieces here. I'm on my very last one. And again, what helps extremely on these Ram headrests just tend to be a little bit larger than Ford and Chevy and everybody else. So cutting these little slits, again, in kind of the X pattern, like 1, 2, 3, 4, that just gives you a little bit more playroom to stretch that around. And they're large enough that it should cover your slit there if you don't make them too large. Just a little bit helps. Okay, so now it's time to take these straps, go down the back side to the buckles. Biggest tip with that is when you're trying to go down when you start it to go back down, you want to pop that up, and that's gonna, anytime your seat is up like this, the bottom seat is up, that's gonna create space on this top side, okay? And when the seat is down, it creates space on the bottom side right here. So when you're trying to do those buckles, we'll want to have the seat further down. But when we're putting these straps through, we want the seat up like this, and then that gives us space to drop the straps down on the back side. And where we're dropping these down is you just follow right between, right here on the back side of this seat cushion is where we're dropping that down. Okay, so we're not going through here or trying to go behind here. We're going in front of all that, right directly behind this seat cover or this original upholstery fabric. We're gonna take the straps and pass them down right through here. Okay, and we're gonna do that with all of these straps. Start passing them all down right there, following this original seat cover or the seat material right there. Once you have all the straps passed down the back side, what you need to do now is take each strap to its corresponding buckle, and you're going to go through the middle slot right here first, and then back through the outside slot right here. So through here first, and then through this one, and then now before you really cinch it tight, I just like, and that's what I've done on all of these, is I've just barely put them through, and some of them you can kind of pull the strap through right here and do it right here, or you can just push this buckle underneath and then do it through on the underside there. So either one will work, and just barely get it started, and then we'll go back through and tighten everything and kind of line it up better once we've started them. Now that I've started all of those straps to the buckles, the main thing to know here is if you want to create space underneath here for your hand to tighten up those buckles, this seat needs to be in the down position, this bottom seat. So what the ideal thing to do here is if you get kind of underneath the seat here and you have the seat partway down or kind of down over your arm, and then you're reaching up underneath the seat like this, and you have your arm underneath there, and then you're tightening it up. Okay, so that's, again, if the seat is down like this, or at least partially down, it's going to create more space down on the back side right here. If the seat is up, it creates more space up here for when you're passing the straps down. So when you're tightening those, it's better to have this seat partway down, kind of, and sometimes I'll even kind of lay down on this part right here and reach underneath with this seat on top of me, and then I'm tightening those up. Okay, so now I have taken all of those straps and tightened them up as tight as they should go. And a couple tips for you is you really have to work that seat kind of up and down to find the right position for your hand to get underneath there to tighten it up. And one thing is, if you don't have these tight enough, they will catch the child's seatbelt attachment bars, and they should be nice and tight and hanging over or over on top of those child seat attachment bars, so those are still accessible there. And again, just take your time as you're kind of tightening all those up, going back and forth, tightening them. And then these sides both have elastics, and what you can do is sometimes I'll take some extra string off of the front seat bottoms and tie it from one end and go over to the other end on the back side there and tie them off. That's a little bit easier. Another way to do it, and this is the way I'm going to do it on this truck today, is you can just go over, you're pulling this behind here and you're going across to a strap underneath here that's already running up to the top, and you just tie it off to that strap, because those are tight enough that you can actually just tie that elastic off to it right there. And then that keeps these sides in nice and tight, hold it in there. Now that we've done the backrest cover, it's time to do the bottom. And this one's a lot simpler, easier to do. There's gonna be felt on the back side, or on the top side, and then there's gonna be Velcro. So you just need to open this up, slide it on, and then close those two pieces together. And these sections right here are not for seat belts, these are for your child seat attachment bars. The seat belts actually come from the floorboard up through between the two seats, and do not have anything to do with the seats itself. They just slide between the backrest and the bottom. Again, these slots are for your child seat attachment bars. Okay, so for this bottom cover, again, you push it through there and the felt comes around down below right here, and you're gonna stick that Velcro down to it. And what really helps to get this down is if you take one hand up at the top and then push down and hold while you take your other hand and then stick the Velcro down. And so you can have it up in this position where you can have one hand up here and then one hand down below and stick that down. So it should finish out like this. Should be nice and tight on this solid bench bottom. And here's your child seat attachment bars. As I said before, seat belts, they come between the two seats, so they don't actually come through a seat cover. And that is great. So that's the bottom done, and there's one of the headrests done, and the other last two headrests will finish out just the same, and then you're all done with this install. So if you're working through this, good job. Contact us if you have any questions. Thanks so much for watching this video. Again, this has been Neil here with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers. We offer seat covers for trucks, Jeeps, SUVs, cars, and UTVs. If you have a vehicle that you're looking to get seat covers on, see us at coversandcamo.com. That's the place to see lots of different builds that we've already built up, examples there, and then also that's the place to build a set for your vehicle. See more at coversandcamo.com. Thanks.